Thanks to every one of you who said sort of like it on that. Okay, thank you. Now tonight we are starting with the trending interview granted by Tinubu's minister named Hannatu Musawa. She is the minister of culture and what have you. Indeed, so mostly about entertainment and other stuff. So she sat for like an hour with Shettima on his popular podcast called The Micon yesterday, or it was published yesterday, where she was asked about how the renewed hope agenda of Tinubu, how is that going, and moreover, how are they planning to convince Nigerians in 2027 next year to vote for Tinubu? Okay, then the opposition, where you have Peter Obi in the ADC, Peter Obi, Atiku, and all that. And if you have been following the political conversation in the last few months in Nigeria, especially when it has to do with the ADC, so Peter Obi and the Obedience, who joined them officially in December, have been very much like loud to say, I mean, the Obedience, they have been very loud to say if ADC is not going to give their ticket to Peter Obi, then they would be, they will not be part of any of that coalition or an effort to get rid of Tinubu next year. There is also this general obsession with the Tinubu team when it comes to this Obi thing. So almost every one of them kind of like they're speaking the same thing. So Musawa said one of the things that is actually going to scatter the ADC before even any election is held would be how they manage who becomes what in ADC. There are those of them who believed strongly that Atiku would step down and the northern Nigeria won't accept Peter Obi in the camp of Tinubu. So therefore, there is no way, even if you have to match the two of them to face Tinubu in 2027, they still won't get rid of him. So that interview is what we're going to dissect a bit. Yeah. Compare and contrast, analyze where we can, and then move on to the next topic. So Musawa will be our opponent. So he was asked about the influence of likes of Obi, Atiku, Erufaya, and others in ADC. This is what she had to say, especially the trio in this part.
Yes, you spoke about the possibilities and the capacity of the Tinubu and Shettima ticket to deliver those renewed hope agenda, but it will take a lot of convincing to Nigerians to make them believe again if you're going back to the polls and saying, okay, yes, this is what we promised in 2023, whether or not you have performed or you have fulfilled them. But you look at what is happening. A prominent daughter of northern Nigeria, you think that you can match in influence, in eloquence, and in terms of stature with the likes of El-Rufai, Atiku Abubakar, and some other top northern political leaders who are determined that President Bola Tinubu and the APC must be taken out of prominence and never to be re-elected.
No, Atiku, Vice President Atiku Abubakar, I mean, he's a formidable, I think all of them, to be fair, all the members of the opposition, to be fair, are formidable opposition, they really are. And I think all of them have obviously played a part in Nigerian politics. So obviously they would have reached the top of their own career in politics, what have you. But honestly, I do not see, especially the way the opposition is emerging, I don't see how the opposition, as it is now, can unseat President Bola Ahmed Tinubu and Kashim Shettima. I just don't see it. I really don't see it. You have an opposition that is overcrowded, and you have an opposition of men who, what do they say, what do they call them? The man man who must be king or something. Every single member of that opposition is vying for the same spot, and only for that spot, and nothing but that spot. So that in and of itself, I think, creates a recipe, a little bit of a recipe for disaster. And I don't think Nasser El-Rufai, I don't think he's really a person that has the ability to take votes from, I think he's the one I can see from the Northwest. I don't see him being able to take any votes from the Northwest in a way that will injure.
And the Atiku Abubakar factor doesn't scare you?
Of course, the Atiku Abubakar factor is a factor, because Atiku Abubakar is a patriot and a formidable Nigerian. Of course, we're not taking it lightly at all in terms of the fact that we have to do all we can to campaign and to deliver a second term for President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. And but if you put Mr. Peter Obi together with Atiku Abubakar together, I think, well, somebody has to be president, and somebody. So who are we? I mean, how is that going to be resolved? Is it going to be a combination of the 2019 ticket of Vice President Atiku with a running mate, Peter Obi, in which case I don't think that obedience will be very happy. And if it is the other way, I don't see Peter Obi having the ability to galvanize the core northern votes in the way that he was unable to the last election. And that's, honestly, that's just the truth.
Yes, you spoke.
No, it is not. Musawa. But we are going to dissect what she said, because she is speaking from what she is pretty much knows in their camp. Here is how I am going to try to kind of like break that down in a way that, no, she is wrong. Not the way she put it anyway. And to Adefe, we have experimented this style, right? I would advise you check your device. Maybe you should increase the volume. Maybe yours, not from here. And when you use that, like, we can't hear you, you are probably the only one that is not hearing me. Or is that general? Like, are you all struggling to hear what I'm saying? Like, away from the microphone? Or like this? Let me know if everyone is struggling to hear me, so that I can deal with that. And if you are the only person, or maybe few, increase the volume of your own device, please. Okay. Yeah, it can be like that sometimes, all right? But check your own device, and make sure that there's no other thing probably playing in the background as well. I think we are clear, right? So there is this sort of like obsession that I have personally observed when it comes to the Tinubu's camp, his ministers, especially his ministers, all right, his advisors and the rest of them. There is this obsession about Peter Obi. They are not as obsessed with Atiku as they are with Obi. And most of the time, they are banking on their own sort of like projections. The same projections that, that kind of like failed in 2023, that made them to disrupt the entire electoral process, shut down the result platform in order to get Tinubu in. So you get, it's not like they are so superb in all of that, but their permutations are like, this is not going to work. Atiku is interested, is always going to contest, no matter what. Peter Obi cannot contest with them if they do primaries. Listen to this. This is their own workings. And that's what they are just waiting to play out. That is where Musawa is kind of like a talking from. Okay. So their permutation, which is what they are pushing in the media as well. Peter Obi and the obedient, they know that Atiku is going to get the ticket. And it doesn't matter how he gets the ticket, right? They will believe that Peter Obi is cheated. So on that note, disobedience, okay, they will not be able to have a place to support this Obi. And if Obi had to go to another party, then that means it's no longer a threat. Then they're also telling themselves, right, ignoring the fact that what they call their coalition means the good, the bad, the ugly, the evil, the whatever, all of them are coming together. And they are all going to use their own, what they believe, their own strength in their own, base or support base or regions to give the support to one person that will be the candidate. Here you get now. So from the north to the south, to the east, to the, everywhere, right? So this is what the coalition is all about, all the talk about it, where everybody will use their strength and ensure that they stopped APC rigging. That's the plan. But APC is making people believe that, no, don't. See, even if they give it to Obi, the Northerners will not vote for him because they won't vote for infidel. And that's where I'm going as well, because she said something like that in that interview, where she was asked, we are hearing the rumor that they want to remove, or people want to change Shettima in 2027 because they don't want to go with the Muslim ticket anymore. Do you know what she said? She said, no, I don't think that's going to really happen. Like, that's not going to fly quick. If APC is not going to run into trouble, Peter Obi is not trouble. Atiku is not trouble. All these coalition things are not problems. The only problem Tinubu will face if he should remove Shettima and replace him with, because that ticket, the only thing that can win APC election in northern Nigeria must be Fulani, Kanuri, that's actually Muslim. Same people where they tell you, say, those of you who didn't support Tinubu, you supported Peter Obi because he promoted religious bigotry, something like that. Are the same people who are now telling themselves, even in the open, you are going to hear it in the open, that the North will not vote for any Christian. They are saying it. They said the North will not vote for any Christian. So Peter Obi cannot galvanize any vote from the North, which means the North will not vote for any other person except Muslim. But you, there are probably questions that will be called the bigot. Anyway, here is the addition to the, like, how are they going to do it? Now, this is where she now said something about if Obi is the candidate, this is what will happen. The North will not want to vote for. If it is Atiku that becomes the candidate, that means Atiku has betrayed the North-South dichotomy, where they are switching power. Are you following? Listen to this.
Ahmed Tinubu. And, but if you put Mr. Peter Obi together with Atiku Abubakar together, I think, well, somebody has to be president and somebody, so who are we? I mean, how is that going to be resolved? Is it going to be a combination of the 2019 tickets of Vice President Atiku with a running mate, Peter Obi? In which case, I don't think that obedience will be very happy. And if it is the other way, I don't see Peter Obi having the ability to galvanize the core northern votes in the way that he was unable to the last election. And that's just the truth.
So Atiku Abubakar is no match for Bola Tinubu in your own books in 2027.
I think I wouldn't say I don't think he is a match. I think he's a formidable opponent. But I do not think in 2027 that Vice President Atiku Abubakar, as much as I admire him and he's such a great patriot and, he's like a father of mine, I would say, but I don't think he's a match for President
Even if Atiku Abubakar and Peter Obi comes together,
but as who and who?
If Atiku Abubakar and Peter Obi come together as on the same ticket, yeah.
Okay, with Peter Obi as the vice president. So the obedience that have vowed not to support, that's going to upset a lot of obedience because they're not really willing to take Peter Obi as a vice presidential candidate, are they? So that's going to upset a lot of people that a lot of people are going to have to eat a crow that said they wouldn't support Peter Obi if he became vice presidential candidate.
I don't think.
And if it's the other way round, or rather, if Peter Obi is on the ticket as a presidential candidate, then that is the fastest way the opposition is going to lose this election. I promise you. I promise you, Shaun, honestly. And if it's the other way, then we have to now question again our sentiment of saying the power should stay in the South for 8 years or for the full term of. So if it's Atiku on that ticket, so that means ADC does not recognize that the South should maintain power. So that's a betrayal of
there's a lot of
the
debate.
sentiment.
Yeah, there's a lot of debate and quite a few rumors going around. And when elections are approaching, and this is what you see, and it's growing by the day, that the possibility of your party considering to jettison the Muslim ticket and the possibility of thinking that there should be a Christian running mate to President Bola Tinubu in 2027.
So we're going to come back to that, So if there are those, different people, they give different permutations when it comes to this, their political journey to 2027. There are those who believe that with what happened in 2023, if Peter Obi and Atiku were together, they could have amassed over 10 million votes that would have defeated Tinubu in their permutations. So therefore, they have been pushing for a while to see if Peter Obi would accept to be vice presidential candidate to Atiku. And in that sense, they believe it is a winning party because they won in 2019. Again, like I said, some pundits, I'll use pundits for them, because everybody is like a political projectors these days anyway. Nigerian politics is kind of the type that you cannot 100% bank on what happened now until you see what will happen in the next 24, 48 hours. There are some that they will leave traces where you can use those pieces to tell where this is headed. Okay, so there are these pundits who believe that may work, but there is also this bias of those who said the obedience, they are never going to become the instrument of bringing the career criminals back to power. So that giving Peter Obi second, making him a vice presidential candidate is a no-no that even Peter Obi himself cannot accept. And if he, by any chance, should say, okay, they agreed on an arrangement that Peter Obi will be a vice president, then he is expected to lose more than half of his base projection. But there are those who insisted that, well, how about Atiku kind of like showed this surprise everybody, right? By just not running and presenting somebody to be the running mate to Obi. Okay. So in that regard, they can then team up from the north to the south. Even there are those who are speaking in support of this Obi joining them, because according to them, the reason why they won't want Obi to play a second fiddle is simply because if he's the head, yes, they will have their political views on how to share political